Hey there, Kris Gamble back again with another episode of Gamble Ramble. This is episode 5. I'm going to lift the lid today on a typical project for Customised. What the products we like to choose, the process we undertake, and the timeline for a typical project. We're going to base this on a major renovation or a new construction project. So if you're having a rewire on an existing home, maybe a change of layout, maybe there's an alteration to make it open plan living, or you're adding a new extension, anything where there's some major work and we can bring in some new cabling and new devices into the home. And then new construction, for obvious reasons, you've got the opportunity to install the cables exactly where you need them for the systems that you need today and in the future. Everything begins with that consultation and design phase where we are discussing your requirements, your needs, some of the things we think that are prerequisites, non-negotiables, because there are certain things that have to go into any of these larger projects. It's typically around the home network. Once we've extracted that information, worked on the pricing, got the solutions right for you, we would then do a short period of design, and that is integrating the cabling and the systems onto your project drawings. They could just be simple floor plans. They could be some more complicated architectural drawings where there's elevations, lighting designs, interior design renders. But typically, we just get those cables down with a number and an ID where we have them on a PDF of your floor plans. That then gives the construction team and more importantly, the electrical contractor a template to follow, a blueprint. And that will be to highlight where there's going to be televisions, speakers, motorized blinds, equipment locations, cameras, security devices, things that will then lead into what's called the first fix phase. And for anyone listening overseas, first fix in the UK is when the trades responsible for plumbing and electrics are running cables, running pipe work, putting in the chases into the wall, drilling through timber joists, getting those vital wires in place for the electrics, and then on the heating side, pipe work for hot water, heating, cold water, etc., air conditioning. At that stage, at Customised, we're supervising and checking. We're just keeping up to speed with the project. We're not actually doing a lot of labor. We hand that over to the electrical contractor who will be responsible for installing those wires, but we will check on them, sign them off, and ensure that everything's in the right place before those walls get closed up with plasterboard or any finishings that are going to be the final wall covering. Then, during that time of the project, other trades will come in behind, like plasterers, like decorators, but that will then lead into the phase called second fix, where those cables will start to be revealed in the ceiling and in the wall to fit lights, light switches, speakers, outlets for internet, for TV, for Wi-Fi access points, for cameras, doorbells. All those things are going to start becoming available for testing, for labeling, and that's when we were involved. That's where we'll start to deal with those specialist cables. A main task for us is dealing with those wires that were all centrally located back to a cupboard or a loft space or understairs area, a utility room, plant room. That's going to be all your Cat 6, Cat 7 cables, your coaxial cables for television, your any fiber optic cables that feature, mainly the incoming fiber from the street, from the internet provider, speaker cabling for any background music systems or surround sound systems, A lot of that will be cabled back to that central location. And then any specialist cables needed for door entry, gate entry, security devices that need a different type of cable. And only then, once all those cables are dealt with, will we start to bring in the final equipment. And that stage is final fix. So we've done first fix, all the cabling. Second fix, dealing with the cabling and presenting them and testing them ready for equipment. And then equipment fix, final fix, where we start to bring in the gadgets, the tech. Typically, we will get the network set up. At Customised, we use Unify network devices. That's routers, network switches, wireless access points for indoors and outdoors. We'll get that set up. We'll get your internet plugged in so that at that stage, internet's on. That's going to help you if you've started to appear more at the house, or you're living in one part of the house if it's a major refurb. And it will also aid construction workers, site managers, project managers, etc. Then, closely followed by the network, we will be putting in security devices. And for us, our go-to again is Unify with their Protect range of products. That's their cameras, which are indoor or outdoor, high definition 4K cameras with different features that can do things like reading number plates, facial recognition, package detection, and can send you motion alerts and even things like person of interest detection, or a vehicle of interest. Very advanced things, but again, that goes on that Cat6 network cabling. That camera system will have a recorder. That recorder will have a certain amount of storage capacity for weeks and weeks of storage. We like the Unify Protect system because there's no subscription. Once you've purchased your recorder and your cameras, there's no monthly fees, unlike some of the cloud recording providers, which we do use on occasions when there's a requirement not to have local storage. And often we find cloud stored security devices are typically for the retrofit when you're not wiring onto existing cabling or new cabling in the house, sorry. Once network and security are set up, then you'll start to see things like speakers going in. So if you've got speakers going in the ceiling, they'll wire back to that central location, and we'll put an amplifier there. We as a company, we use Sonos and their amplifiers. They will go somewhere central, and the speakers typically installed in the ceiling or in the wall will have a couple of different sizes, but ultimately filling the room, filling the space where you wanted some background music. Closely following the audio system, we'll be looking at getting the lights connected up and controlled by your system, which for us is Lutron. We have 2 or 3 different types of systems. We have the RA2 and RA3 systems for retrofit smaller projects. And then for the larger projects, we go with Lutron Homeworks with their hardwired keypads and their panel of dimmers. With the 2 RA3, we can use a wireless dimmer, which doesn't have to be centralized. Again, just allowing us flexibility for equipment space and for budgets and device numbers. We can get the lights up and running temporarily, of course, for construction work, painting, decorating, any of the cabinetry, kitchens being fitted. We will align with those timescales to getting lights on. Towards the end of the project, we'll get the final keypads, which could be in a metal finish, a glass finish. They will have engraving specific to your project, to the rooms, the activities. And now we're really close to the finish line now. We're on those final stages. That's when motorized window treatments will go in. That's roller blinds, curtain tracks. There may have been things installed earlier to conceal these products, like the blinds when we put them in these recess pockets, or curtain tracks if we fit them in any recesses and box sections made for these window treatments, but typically they'll go in quite late because, especially with roller blinds, you have the fabric. You do not want any of those wet trades, the decorators, any carpentry work. You don't need all that happening around those expensive fabric finishes. So your blinds might align with very close to when furniture is arriving. So very much a late stage of the project. But as a trade, we're well known for being one of the last trades to be on site. The big reason for that is part of our project is the handover and the customer training so that you're comfortable with controlling your music, blinds, viewing cameras, accessing the gate and door access systems, that you'll be able to live on that initial period with everything straightforward, nothing too complex. But later, 6 to 10 weeks after you move in, we'll follow up with some more advanced training, which isn't too technical. It just will start to customize it to your preferences, schedules, lighting scenes, setting up areas of interest on your cameras, adjusting anything to do with TVs and music systems. There might be some apps that you want to add. There might be television providers you want connected up, like Sky, Virgin, BT. You may by then start to receive these set-top boxes, and we may have also installed the TVs a little bit after you moving in. Let's get those connected. Let's get those favorite apps, games, consoles, etc. connected up. So even after that, most of the trades have left, ourselves will be still in and out doing some of the final finishes, which are very personalized to you rather than being a general construction task. Slightly different episode this week of Gamble Ramble. I hope that gives you an idea of timeline. I think it will lead into next week and we'll start to reveal some of the costings. We might do a couple of episodes there for different size homes, but it will reference to the products we've just mentioned here. And just to repeat those, was Unify for networking and security cameras and door access, gate access. We have Lutron looking after our lighting and our shading with blinds and curtains. And then we have Sonos delivering our background music, but also our home cinema surround sound systems, which we'll talk about in another episode as well. We'll do a deep dive into all these products as well. So this could lead into 3 or 4 episodes where we talk about costings, and then we'll drill into each of the brands and their products beneath them of all the different applications that they lend themselves to. This has been episode 5 of Gamble Ramble. I've been Kris Gamble from Customised. You can find us at customised.uk.com or just search for Customised on any social media platform. You should find us. If you have any questions for the show, go through our website or leave a comment with questions that you'd like us to tackle in the comments or in future episodes. I appreciate your listens and views. Speak soon. Take care.